Greetings, YouTube. I was listening to NPR on the way home the other morning. It's something I do every day on my way home from work. And they were discussing the upcoming Iowa caucuses. They had not taken place yet. This was on Monday morning. And one of the pundits on the show, one of the political editors from one of the branches of their organization, was saying that he had recently been discussing politics with an Iowa farmer who identified as Democrat. And this guy, who, remember, identified as a Democrat, had told him that he was going to vote for the shitgibbon. And why was he going to vote for the shitgibbon? Because he felt that the Democratic Party was giving too much money to programs that benefit the poor. Stop and let that wash over you for a moment. Just let that sink in for a moment. That a guy who self-identifies as a Democrat was concerned that poor people were getting too much money for things like housing and food and health care and things like that. So he was going to support the political party that just recently gave the wealthy $1.7 trillion. You could multiply what we currently give to the poor in America by 1,000 times, and it would still be a rounding error for $1.7 trillion. I was overwhelmed with disgust and anger when I heard this. That someone lacked empathy to that degree. And knowing my background of being raised in violence, my first urge was to punch a hole through his head. Because how do you fix that? How do you convince someone they should care about their fellow human? Now, I wouldn't have punched him, but I sure as shit wanted to in that moment. Mostly, if I'd seen him face to face, I probably would have just walked away and sat in my car and cried. Because I've faced that kind of ugliness from someone before. And that was my response. Overwhelmed by their absolute lack of humanity. By the desire to support billionaires and throw poor people under the bus. Or I guess in this case, into the street. So they can die of exposure and hunger. To not take care of folks that desperately need it. That they'd rather spend their money on an F-35 that doesn't work than on making sure your neighbor's kids have a place to live and food to eat. This is just astounding to me. That kind of ugliness, stupidity, functions in our world. And I wonder if the guy considers himself to be Christian. You know, does this good Democrat consider himself a Christian? Because if you do, you wouldn't just throw someone out of the hotel and into a stable. You would have thrown Mary and Joseph into the fucking streets. Why? Well, they're poor people. Who cares about poor people? I have a business to take care of. So yeah, I'm disgusted with some of my fellow Americans today. I'll be more disgusted come November when we vote and I see how many of them still come to the polls to support white supremacy, like this good white Democratic farmer. So, there you go. You want to support the shitgibbon, this is what you get. You're supporting white supremacy. You're supporting billionaires over your fellow citizens. At least I'm not punching you.